Not much. Hey.
How you doing? Good evening.
Good evening, and I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. And let's call this City Council meeting to order, and ask the clerk to call roll.
Council President Lyda. Council Pro-Tem Posey.
Here.
Councilmember Swiney. Councilmember Driver. Here. Councilmember Murphy.
Present.
Councilmember Middlebrooks.
Here.
Councilmember McClinton.
Here.
All right, I'll ask the clerk if everyone will please stand. We'll do the invocation, and then Councilor Driver will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, amen. Amen. Attention, salute, flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I will now turn it over to the mayor, who has some special guests he would like to honor.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. We have the honor tonight of recognizing the Spain Park Law Academy. We have team captain Claire McShane, Ella Gant, Michael Allen, Cole Sutton, Elijah Ferguson. We would ask them to come up to the front if they would, and let's just talk a little bit about them and their sponsor, Craig Thompson. If you just stand right there and go just a little bit more. A little bit more. Get you in the center there. All right, keep going. Keep going. So the Spain Park Law Academy was founded in 2007, and it's a school within a school that fosters academic excellence by providing real-world experience. And one of those experiences is a mock trial competition where the students try both sides of the case in a competitive setting. Some students take up the role as witness while others act as the attorneys. The process requires students to read case problems that can be hundreds of pages, create case theories, write examinations, and then deliver the work in front of actual attorneys in the courtroom setting. This year, our senior team of Claire McShane, Ella Gant, Michael Allen, Cole Sutton, Elijah Ferguson, and led by Captain Julia Daigle, advanced out of the regional competition to win the State of Alabama championship. They won their final against Vestate. We appreciate you doing that. They won their final against Vestate in the Alabama Supreme Court, and this was Spain Park's 7th consecutive state title. They will now represent the state of Alabama at the National High School Mock Trial Championship in Phoenix, Arizona this May. It's hosted in a different state each year. The team has represented the state 12 times, and since then they've been able to hear from Supreme Court Justice O'Connor and Scalia. Of course, the success of this program is certainly due to their hard work, but they have the backing of so many throughout the city. Of course, the Hoover City school system, the administration, the faculty and staff, and of course the parents and the community. So we are so proud of you, and Dr. Esslinger is here as well, the principal, who is also very proud of her students, and we just want to take the opportunity to recognize y'all and just tell you congratulations and win it all for us very soon. You want to come get a picture with us?
I need to switch? All right. Okay, we got it.
I won't speak long. We've always tried to advocate for the students to have a voice, but I do just want to thank the city, the school system, the administration, the other teachers, and the parents for all the support over the years, but I'll leave it to the kids.
Hi, my name is Julia Daigle.
My name is Clara McShane.
And we are the two co-captains of this mock trial team. And we just wanted to kind of echo what's been said and thank everybody for the recognition today, as well as the support we've been given in our program and from the city and from our administration at our school. It's really built up our Spain Park Law Academy, and it's really empowered us to compete in these high-level competitions, and it's something that we wouldn't be able to do anywhere else.
We are extremely excited to represent the state of Alabama, but more importantly, the city of Hoover at the National Mock Trial Competition this May in Phoenix. This is an opportunity that would not have been possible without all of you and allowing us to have our Law Academy to give us these opportunities, and so we're very grateful for that.
All right, thank you. Before we move on, I'd like to recognize Mr. Reeves and Mr. Smith, both as former city councilmen. We're glad to have you back. And Donna Nazer as well, former city council member. And in the back, Mr. Paquette, current Board of Education member, and former Board of Education member, Mr. Craig Kelly. And then Shelby County Commissioner Josh Sitz right here in front. Glad to have you guys here. Thank you for coming out. All right, moving on to our agenda. We did not have a work session this past Thursday, so this will be the long form version where we go through every item, and we will begin the regular agenda with the payment of bills.
Motion to approve payment of bills.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Next will be the approving the minutes for the November 14th and November 18th meetings.
Motion to approve the minutes without reading.
Second. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the council? Any from the audience? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. The motion passes. Moving over to page number 2. Resolution number 8341-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes the severe weather preparedness sales tax holiday beginning at 12:01 a.m. on Friday, February 21st, 2025, ending at 12 midnight on Sunday, February 23rd, 2025.
Motion to approve resolution number 8341-24.
Second. Having a motion and a second, Ms. Cornett.
I was just here if there were any questions.
Okay.
We participated in this holiday in years past.
That is correct. It's a yearly housekeeping item. Any discussion from the council? Any from the audience? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Resolution number 8342-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution accepts a contribution from the Hoover Board of Education in the amount of $100,000 for half the cost of new bleachers at the Hoover Met and amends the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025 to reflect the same as shown in Exhibit A to this resolution.
Motion to approve resolution number 8342-24.
Second. All right. Ms. Cornett, anything on this item?
Yes, the city's portion of this was included in the approved budget for the current year. So this is simply a request to accept the gift from the Board of Education and to allow us to spend that gift toward the purchase of those bleachers.
Any discussion, comments, or questions from the council? Other than I will say, Mr. Paquette, thank you. We have a great partnership with the Board of Education, and I'm glad to see this item on the agenda and us working together to further things for our city. Any discussion from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Resolution number 8343-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution amends the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025 for wastewater emergency repairs as shown in Exhibit A to the resolution.
Motion to approve resolution number 8343-24.
Second. Okay, I have a motion to second. Ms. Cornett, anything on this item?
Yes, we have an emergency repair that needs to take place on River Chase Parkway. This budget amendment is an attempt to use some leftover funding that's already been set aside for other projects that have been completed, to be able to provide for that emergency repair and also leave a little bit left over in case other needs come up. Was there anything else that Jason wanted to add to that? Did I do a good job there with the repair? Okay.
All right, any discussion from the council? Any from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item number 6 is resolution number 8344-24, Mr. Corley.
This amends the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025 for cameras and first responder software, and further authorizes Mayor Bucato to execute an agreement with Paladin for first responder software and authorizes Mayor Bucato to execute an agreement with Motorola Solutions for cameras.
Motion to approve resolution number 8344-24.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Chief Joseph.
This is to purchase 4 license plate readers that will be mounted on police cars. You know, we have quite a few that are mounted other places in the city. These go on cars. The reason we brought this up quickly, we found out by December 20th, we purchased 2 of them. They give us 4, so it's buy one, get one free, pretty good gig. So $26,000 there. This money's coming out of the inmate funds. And then this past few months ago, we purchased the drone that we have on top of City Hall. Since we have that, we can spend $5,000 and get software that we own another drone just like it. We'll be able to remotely fly that drone from anywhere in the country, literally 3-mile radius like we have now, but we can't do it without the software. So that'd be $5,000. We're asking for the $31,500 out of our inmate fund.
Any questions for the chief on these items? Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, I have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 7, resolution number 8345-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Bucato to accept the bid number 24-018 for Thornton Drive sidewalks from the existing sidewalk to Burning Tree Circle for the city of Hoover, Alabama, from Avery Landscaping and Associates, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $141,103, and authorizes Mayor Bucato to execute an agreement reflecting the same.
Motion to approve resolution number 8345-24.
Second. A motion and a second. Mr. Reeves.
Yes, sir. Staff has reviewed the bids and you recommend awarding the bid to Avery Landscape, who was the lowest responsible bidder, as Mr. Corley said. Funds for the construction, of course, were approved in the fiscal year 25 budget. No additional funds are needed. We anticipate they're given 60 calendar days for construction of this project. We expect them to start mid-January.
Any questions from the council for Mr. Reeves? Any from the audience? Hearing none, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Stay right there for item number 8, resolution number 8346-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Bucato to reject bid number 24-019 for traffic signals and roadway lighting services for the city of Hoover, Alabama from Stone & Sons Electrical Contractors, Inc., and to negotiate and execute an agreement with Stone & Sons Electrical Contractors, Inc. in an amount not to exceed the bid price of $56,807.50.
Motion to approve resolution number 8346-24.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Mr. Reeves, tell us about this item.
Yes, sir. This is for our annual traffic signal maintenance bid. This is a very unique specified service. There's only several vendors in the state that provide this service. Stone & Sons is the only one in town that does that, so there are some other vendors in Mobile, but it's really not economically feasible for them to come up and do this work. Stone & Sons has been our maintenance contractor for almost the last 20 years on this. They do an excellent job, and we will recommend also to reject this bid and negotiate these prices with them.
Any questions from the council?
Yeah, Mr. President, just so I know, Mayor, on these, are you required to come to us to ask for rejection, or can you just negotiate it and just come to us when the negotiation occurs? Because by state statute, it's just one bid, so you have state statute to negotiate. So you don't have to, unless it's something I don't know about in the code, you don't need to come to us and ask us to reject it. Just come to us with the final one. You save you some time.
No, also authorizes him to execute an agreement below the bid price. So that's the part that
Yeah, but
to you guys.
can y'all just negotiate and come to us with let the numbers, for instance, let's say it comes back at a $45,000, then we'll know the actual cost. And it can save you guys some time. Just come to us at the end.
It's been a procedure for the city for how to do this.
Okay, well, if y'all want to keep it, that's fine. I mean, if you want to speed it up. Okay, all right.
Any other questions, Mr. Reeves? Any from the audience? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Item number 9, resolution number 8437-24, Mr. Corley.
This authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement with Shelby County, Alabama to provide emergency medical transport services.
Motion to approve resolution number 8347-24.
Second.
Chief Bentley.
Thank you, Council. This is the third year, I believe, that Shelby County has done this for us. Shelby County is giving transport agencies within Shelby County $1,000 per square mile of area that you cover, and we happen to cover just a little under 23 square miles of Shelby County. And so this money is used for EMS transport, reimbursement for fuel and supplies and of that nature. And this is just a resolution to accept those funds. I believe Ms. Cornett already has in place this money. We knew we were going to get it, and so we've already allowed to spend that money. We just need to receive it.
Any questions from the council? Comments from the council? I would say thank you to Shelby County for being a good partner and for aiding this program.
Absolutely.
Any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, I have a motion to second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. And then finally, before we get to first readings, resolution number 8348-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution adopts the City of Hoover Architectural Standards and Design Guidebook.
Motion to approve resolution number 8348-24.
Second. Having a motion and a second. Mr. Knighton, your name is by this item, and Mr. Martin, I think you'll be assisting.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time this evening. As I've been working with MAC over the years on various economic development projects and developments in the city, it's become clear to us that having a set of architectural and design guidelines for base zoning districts will be very helpful in our efforts to create a sense of place here in the city of Hoover. It's not unusual to have developers ask us what the city would like to see when they're working on a new development or extensive remodel. And when the city's incentivizing a project, it's imperative that we work with the developer to create a strong sense of place within that development. This process is much more clear when we're working within a planned unit development or a PUD, which you're all familiar with. The guidelines there are already set, and each PUD has a distinctive look and feel. In order to provide a tool for staff and developers, staff began working with members of our Downtown Redevelopment Authority and Commercial Development Authority last year on this project. We have members of those bodies here tonight, and I appreciate all of their help on that. And a special thanks to Khristi Driver for encouraging this when she was on the DRA and as she sat on the council as well. We engaged the KPS group, which compiled Hoover's comprehensive plan, to work with us on this project. Mr. Jason Fondren is here tonight as well. We involved key stakeholders from neighborhood groups, the development community, as we developed guidelines and standards. And the resulting product from these processes is what you have in front of you this evening. Two documents, a set of guidelines and a set of standards for base zoning areas, with a special focus on Bluff Park, Highway 31, and Lorna Road. The guidelines document is just that. They're just guidelines. It provides descriptive suggestions for what the city would like to see in terms of architectural materials, site layout, and connectivity, and more for non-single family based zoning districts. Now we're able to answer questions intelligently when we're asked what the city would like to see in terms of a development. Similarly, there's a standards document that provides more prescriptive language that can be used when the city is providing incentives to a project. The planning and economic development offices will be able to work together jointly to have a PUD-like set of standards that the incentivized developer must adhere to as they're designing and building out their project. Flexibility, though, is key in the use of these standards so that Hoover can continue to be a pro-business city. The Commercial Development Authority and the Downtown Redevelopment Authority have passed resolutions endorsing these documents, and tonight we're asking that council consider doing the same.
Any questions from the council?
Only comment I'll make is I know that over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of discussion about having some consistency on the architectural theme of areas. Remember, we always have to spend time, Councilman Middlebrooks, we're, I guess, working to negotiate the storage unit right there on 150 and Ross Bridge, trying to make sure it looked a certain type of way. So I am glad all the hard work has went into this effort, also with the different boards to try to make some consistency in the city of Hoover.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
When does, after this vote, does it go in immediately or a certain date in the future or what?
It will go into effect immediately, yes, sir.
Does that mean like current developments in those areas, would they have to be under these new guidelines or?
No, only if they were receiving incentives would they have to go under the guidelines. It would just simply be, right now, these would be, as people come in and we're meeting with them and they ask us, it's not uncommon, as Matt can attest to, for us to have developers who come to us with extensive remodels and just say, what would the city like to see?
Okay.
It gives us a document we can hand back to them.
All right, thank you.
I just want to thank their team for all the hard work. Look, I poured over this document earlier today and kind of wore Greg and Jason and Mac, all of them out on shooting emails back and forth with a lot of questions. But in the end, I felt very satisfied by what you guys have presented to us. You answered my questions about permeable surfaces, wheelchair accessible, universal designs, making sure that the business community had a hand in this through focus groups that were well attended. So you guys put a lot of effort into this, and I appreciate the hard work.
Thank you. Big thanks to again, back to the Commercial Development Authority and the Downtown Redevelopment Authority. They were critical in this effort as well.
Mr. President, I did want to also recognize James Robinson is on the Downtown Redevelopment Board as well, too, chairman of that. So thank you for being here.
Any further questions from the council?
Just a quick comment. Congratulations on reaching this result, assuming that we adopted. And I know it's been a couple of years of a lot of hard work behind the scenes, and people don't always get to see or know all that goes on to pull something like this off, but it's going to benefit us going forward with having a more cohesive standard across the board, and acknowledging that we do have, some distinctive areas like Bluff Park and others that already have a look, and helping encourage that we continue to keep that historical perspective. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
I think that's everyone, isn't it? Do you have any other questions? Okay. Any questions from the audience? Yes, sir. And then second. Come on down.
Robin Schultz, Bluff Park. There were two comments made, one by Mr. Knighton, said that stakeholders were involved in this, specific stakeholders, and specifically since this deals with Bluff Park, I assume Bluff Park stakeholders. And Dr. Middlebrooks said that focus groups were involved. It would be fair to say that Bluff Park is a very involved community. We are engaged. We know what's going on in our community. We heard nothing about this. We heard nothing. Who were the stakeholders? When were the focus groups? How were they announced? This impacts Bluff Park directly, obviously, with whatever the guidelines are. But nothing was mentioned to us. And again, we're very engaged. I think we're one of the most engaged communities in Hoover. We're one of in the top being engaged. Why were we not somehow an announcement made that this would be happening? We have the venue for having meetings and things like this. Wouldn't it be fair to bring it to our attention is the only comment I have on this. And perhaps perhaps you can continue this until the community, the directly impacted communities like Bluff Park, could hear what is happening, and the whole community give input, not just a certain focus group and who we don't know who they are, or stakeholders who we really don't know who they are. Thank you.
Yes, sir, there was another comment. Come on up.
Jim Massengale, 600 Emory Drive, Hoover. Thank you for letting me speak. Good evening. I'm the Director of Development for Broad Metro, and we're a commercial real estate firm, proven track record of delivering transformative projects across the country. Locally, we're proud of our Stadium Trace Village project. Generates approximately $70 million annually in taxable revenue. I'm here tonight to address this resolution 834824, which seeks to adopt additional new architectural standards and design guidelines. We fully support raising the standards for developments. In fact, we have been in front of this curve with a lot of the things that we've done in Hoover: wider sidewalks, addressing storm drainage issues, permeable surfaces, and also we're fully on board with those things. However, we're a little bit concerned. We're a major stakeholder in Hoover, and we're concerned that who really had input in the feedback and all to develop this. Developers, who really had that feedback? We didn't have that feedback. We're a major stakeholder here. And we foster, we think these guidelines will foster development and all if they're done properly. Secondly, though, Councilman Lyda has made public statements that we will not, certain developers won't be welcomed in Hoover. And so should we interpret these guidelines that we've not had an opportunity to participate in as the developer that would execute what is planned, would these guidelines really be used to weaponize the city to work against developers? And actions like these raise serious questions, whether the city is advancing good guidelines to promote business, or are we working on personal vendettas and opportunities that to work with developers that were referred to as those that we would like to do business with. And so we're concerned about that. We'd like to see this motion carried over to have an opportunity to have input and see who, maybe somebody can answer who had the input from the development community that have major stakeholders. We have Tattersall, Stadium Trace Village, the River Chase project. So I don't know if that's a question I can ask.
I think what we'll do is, since that question, you've asked that question, Robin's raised that question, we'll let Greg speak to that. I would say to one of the things you said about the comments made by Councilman Lyda, remember that his one vote out of 7. And I would say that unless you were hearing that from the entire body up here, I would not be concerned about the comments of one vote out of 7 in terms of who can and cannot develop in Hoover. Greg, do you want to speak to the involvement and stakeholders and those kind of things?
Sure. So we had a smaller group of developers, or smaller developers, I should say. Watts Realty and Development Company, Hancock Construction, Kelly Architect, Chris Rebels, and Tim Aho were all part of that discussion with us. We didn't include some of the developments that Mr. Massengale was referring to because they're planned unit developments. So they already have a set of guidelines and standards that they adhere to. We're simply talking about base zoning areas of the city with a key focus, as I mentioned, on Bluff Park, on Lorna Road, and on Highway 31, but they can be used throughout the city. But those are where the key focus areas were. And as to who was there, I cannot remember who from Bluff Park was at the meeting. We reached out and asked people who were vocal in the community to be part of it. It was simply impossible to have an open meeting and have all the input to get the work done in the amount of time that we would have liked to have, but we tried to be as inclusive as we could be in that process.
Thank you for that. And any further questions from the council on this item? Based on these responses, based on the questions from the public? Anyone else from the audience care to speak on this item? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The motion carries. Now we'll move on to the first readings. We will not take action on these items tonight. These will be first readings, and the action and second reading will be at our next meeting. First is item number 11, resolution number 8329-24. Ms. Corley.
This resolution authorizes the abatement of weed or other vegetation nuisance at 3445 Sierra Drive.
Mr. Martin.
Currently have a nuisance in need for abatement. We will have an update for you guys at the time of second reading.
And it did get cold this last week, so we may be through with those till the spring.
Fingers crossed.
And then item number 12, ordinance number 24-2663, Mr. Crowley.
This ordinance amends ordinance number 263 to rezone the property located at 2985 John Hawkins Parkway to R1 Single Family Residential District with conditions detailed on Exhibit B.
Mr. Martin.
This is a piece of property at the far end of Paradise Lake. It was originally part of the overall property holdings for the Patton Creek retail development, but it is across the tributary of Patton Creek and was placed in a conservation easement. Conservation easement across this property does allow for a single residential dwelling unit to be developed on it. And there is a prospective buyer for this property that would like to do so. In order to accommodate that one residential unit, the property needs to go from its current state as not zoned to the R1 single family residential district.
All right, and we will take up those items in the second reading at our next meeting. Now we'll move on to council comments, and I do want to say thank you to the Beautification Board. If you've been in the council chamber and out in the lobby areas and seen all the decorating that's gone, and everything looks beautiful this year, as it always does. And Mr. Mayor, and I want to thank the Beautification Board for all the work they do. Did you want to add to that?
I did have something to add.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, well, go ahead.
We have Scout Henry Kirby here from Troop 23. I'd ask him to come down. We could get a picture with him. He's from Bumpus, and he's working on his citizenship in community. And we wanted to welcome Henry tonight and thank him for all of his hard work. If you come down, we'd love to get a picture with you with the council.
All right.
I got one. Yeah, okay. Mama boy.
And one more thing before I turn it over to the rest of the council.
Mr. President, I did want to say this. Dr. Kirby, which is his dad, he was my professor at UAB in Water Resource Department. So if anyone want to know what type of student I was, Dr. Kirby, please do not share any information with them as possible. Thank you.
We might want to hear about that. One more item before I turn it over to everybody else. The Christmas tree lighting is tomorrow night out here in front with the large Christmas tree, and Santa will be here, as well as a lot of things for everybody to come see and do. So come on down and join us there. Now, any comments from the council tonight? All right, any from the audience? Mr. King, come on down.
King, Rossbridge Parkway. Two things. Probably about 2 weeks ago, our Hoover decided to take our handful but so mighty group of volunteers, about 50 of us, and started to email and call registered voters in the city of Hoover. And primarily, initially, the thought was just to get feedback from them, what do they think about right track, wrong track, concerns they have, and got a lot of feedback, as you probably can imagine, a lot about stormwater, a lot about development, something about, a little bit about education. But the top two things that so far, out of the hundreds of folks we've already engaged, our goal is to go through every single registered voter. If you haven't got a phone call or email and you're a registered voter in the city of Hoover, you will. Top two things. Number one was unity. Oddly enough, folks said, man, we can put up with a certain level of partisanship in national politics, back and forth, but most folks said that when it comes to local governing, they prefer just middle of the road, not a whole lot of bickering and back and forth. So surprising, that was one of the things that came out. And the second thing that came out was transparency. I know the council does their part, and you guys feel pretty confident about the level of transparency the city operates within. And I will tell you, you can feel comfortable and confident about where you are with transparency, and people can still want more. Both things can be true. And so I basically made a commitment to the folks of our Hoover to make sure that at a minimum that I would at least make sure that I shared the feedback that the voters of Hoover have stated about their concerns within the city. One of the things that I would also offer, and I've heard Robin and other folks mention it in the past, is at one point there were town hall meetings in the city of Hoover. They may have been virtual, they may have been in person, but this is something that continues to come up over and over again. And again, I know, everyone is doing their due diligence to make sure there is a certain level of transparency, but if you could take that a step further, and open up things maybe quarterly for town hall meetings, I think that would maybe a great starting point. Again, I've seen the city of Birmingham do them, and I've seen them navigate a lot of difficult questions periodically. For the most part, they would probably say it's been a win for the city. And so if there's another way to do it, fantastic, but that's one of the things that came out, is unity and transparency. And so I'm only asking if you would consider entertaining some way for citizens not to come to the council meeting, spend their 3 minutes, just basically sharing what they think is important. It's not a place for dialogue per se, but if you could create a space for it, virtual or in person, I think it would go a long ways for the city of Hoover. And also, thanks to all the council members who've done their part to make sure that folks are being heard. So again, I want to tell you how much we appreciate it, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. King. Those are good suggestions. Anyone else from the audience care to speak this evening? If not, we are adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Slip you this
How you doing? Oh, yeah. I forgot to do